Okay, so you sent us this really interesting YouTube transcript in practice.
That's the one. Yeah.
And it's all geared towards, well, helping people improve their English speaking.
Exactly. Practical stuff.
So our mission here basically is to dig into this, not just skim it, but really pull out the key ideas, the practical tips for language learners that are kind of embedded in there. Give you a shortcut, maybe.
Yeah, unpack the methodology behind it because it's got this structure, right?
It does. 4 parts they mention. Listening, then vocabulary, then this listen and answer thing, and finally, shadowing.
A nice progression, actually. Each bit builds on the last.
Okay, so let's dive into that first part then, the listening. We get dropped into this conversation, Ben and Anna.
Yep, native speakers chatting.
And they're talking about someone named Jake and his presentation. And, well, it sounds like it didn't go perfectly.
No, Anna says something like, it wasn't his best.
Right. Straightforward. But then it gets interesting.
It does, because they don't just, tear it down. The conversation takes a different turn.
Yeah, Ben jumps in with this phrase, cut him some slack, which for learners, idioms like that can be tricky, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're everywhere, but hard to grasp sometimes.
But the video explains it later, which is helpful, says it means not being too strict or critical, being more patient.
Exactly. Be understanding. And the reason Ben says it is key, too.
What was the reason again?
He points out it was Jake's very first time presenting to the team.
Okay. Context. That changes things, doesn't it? Makes you see why you'd be more forgiving.
Totally.
Yeah.
It highlights thinking about the situation, the shared experience, really important for communication.
And Anna's reaction is great, I think. She says, I guess you're right. I remember my first time I was so nervous.
Yes, that connection, that feeling of, oh yeah, I've been there.
We've all felt that, haven't we? Doing something new, especially speaking a language you're learning, it's nerve-wracking.
Definitely. And her sharing that, it normalizes the nerves. Makes it less scary maybe for someone listening who feels the same way. It builds empathy.
So from that moment of understanding, they shift gears. They start thinking constructively.
Right. Not just, oh, that was bad, but okay, how can we help?
They talk about giving advice, specifically, not criticism. Big difference.
Huge difference. And that's a core idea for learning anything, isn't it? Positive guidance works way better than just pointing out flaws. Think about language learning. Supportive feedback helps you grow. Constant error correction, not so much.
And they don't just talk about it, they actually plan something, like helping Jake prepare for the next one.
Yeah, real teamwork. They even mention the word teamwork.
It shows learning isn't always a solo thing. It can be collaborative.
Absolutely. And their plan to chat with him after work, maybe grab coffee, that shows a really supportive approach. Building someone up instead of tearing them down makes the whole learning thing feel safer.
Okay, so that conversation sets the stage. Then the video moves into the vocabulary section, explicitly teaching words from that chat.
Right, breaking it down.
First up is presentation, defined as a talk or display of information, often in front of a group. Pretty standard.
Yeah, and they give examples like Jake gave a presentation or I have to give my first presentation.
Seeing it used helps, doesn't it? Shows the context.
Definitely. Makes it stick better than just a definition.
Then they circle back to cut someone some slack, reinforce the meaning, not too strict or critical, be patient.
And the examples they give are really good for showing us flexibility.
Yeah, I noticed that. Cut the kids some slack, cut the man some slack, even cut yourself some slack.
Or directly, like cut me some slack.
Seeing all those variations really helps you get a feel for how widely you can use it, doesn't it?
It really does. It takes it from just knowing the definition to understanding how it works in real speech. That's crucial for actually using it yourself.
Good point.
Yeah.
And the last vocab word was criticism.
Defined as negative comments, pointing out mistakes.
But they also include examples like, the teacher gave some criticism, or, interestingly, constructive criticism.
Right, which shows it's not always just negative tearing down. Constructive criticism is meant to help you improve.
So it links back to that earlier point Ben and Anna made about offering advice instead of just, well, criticism.
Exactly. Understanding that nuance helps you choose the right word when you're speaking or writing.
Okay, so we've got the conversation context, we've got the specific vocabulary broken down. Now the video shifts to this listen and answer practice.
Yeah, this is the active part, making sure you're really getting it.
Checking your comprehension, basically.
Yeah.
So they ask these direct questions based on the dialogue.
Precisely. It forces you to recall the information, connect the dots between the dialogue and the vocab you just learned. Start simple, too.
Right, like first question. Did Jake do a great job? Answers clearly, No, it wasn't his best.
Basic check. Did you get the main point?
Then, who gave the presentation? Jake. Was it his first time? Yes, in front of the team. Just nailing down the facts.
Establishing the scene, yeah. Before the more complex stuff.
Okay, then it links back. Did Ben criticize Jake? No, he told Anna to cut him some slack.
See how it connects.
Yeah. Which leads right into, what does cut him some slack mean? Answer. Not being too critical or strict reinforces that vocab again.
It's quite cleverly designed, linking the idiom, its meaning, and the specific context.
And then the why. Why did Ben say this? Because it was Jake's first time. Did Anna agree? Yes.
Getting into the motivations now.
And then what did Anna say about her first time? She was very nervous, bringing back that relatable point.
Yeah, it's not just facts. It's understanding the feelings and reasons behind the words that deepens comprehension.
Okay, then it moves to the solution part. What will help Jake improve? Practice. Should they criticize him? No.
Reinforcing the positive approach.
What should they do? Give advice. Who suggested helping? Anna. What about teamwork? Ben says it makes everything easier.
It really hammers home those core messages about support, collaboration, constructive feedback.
And finally, the plan. When talk to Jake. After work. What else? Maybe grab coffee. Why coffee?
Because he looks like he needs it. Adds that little touch of empathy again.
So this whole Q&A section isn't just testing memory, is it? It's making you analyze the interaction, the meaning, the underlying principles.
Exactly. It pushes you beyond just surface understanding. You have to interpret the social cues, the idioms, the overall message.
Okay, that brings us to the final piece of their method. Shadowing practice.
Ah, yes. Shadowing. You hear this recommended a lot for pronunciation.
Definitely. And the video explains its purpose is to focus on rhythm and intonation. Not just saying the words right, but saying them with the right music.
That's a good way to put it. Rhythm and intonation are key for sounding natural and being understood easily. Shadowing helps you internalize that musicality. It's actually backed by motor learning principles, connecting hearing and speaking directly.
And how does it work, according to the video? You listen, then you speak right after.
Pretty much. Listen to a speaker, then immediately repeat what they said. Try and copy their delivery, the ups and downs, the pauses, the flow.
So mimicking not just the sounds, but the entire pattern.
Exactly. It trains your mouth and ears to work together on those suprasegmental features, the things beyond individual vowel and consonant sounds.
Which, in theory, should really sharpen your pronunciation and make your speaking smoother overall. Boost your confidence, maybe.
That's the goal. It's an active, immersive way to get the feel of the language's natural patterns, leading to more fluent, natural-sounding speech over time.
Okay, so we've walked through the whole structure of this practice video. If we boil it all down, what are the key takeaways for someone listening to us, someone trying to improve their English?
Well, I think a few big things stand out. First, that idea of empathy, cutting some slack. Understanding that learning takes time, involves mistakes. That's huge for how you see others and how you treat yourself.
Right. Be kind to yourself during the process.
Definitely. Second, the focus on practice and constructive feedback over just finding fault. That's how you actually get better. Third, teamwork and support. Learning with others or having support makes a massive difference. It's less lonely, less daunting.
That's sense.
And finally, that specific technique, shadowing. It gives you a practical tool to actively work on your pronunciation, your rhythm, your intonation.
That's a great summary. And, it makes you think, stepping back from just language.
Yeah.
How often do we need to, cut ourselves some slack when we're learning anything new, not just English, or trying something tough?
That's a really good point. We can be our own harshest critics, can't we?
Totally. And maybe think about how we can be more like Ben and Anna in our own lives, offering support, giving helpful advice instead of just pointing out what's wrong, whether it's with colleagues, friends, family.
Absolutely. Those principles, patience, understanding, constructive support, collaboration, they apply way beyond language learning, don't they? They're really about effective communication and personal growth in general.
Something to definitely keep exploring, I think.